I now call Nick Clegg from Sheffield.
Colleagues, just to show that I can also agree with Paul Holmes, I strongly agree with what Paul said about what a brilliant, brilliant debate that was. That really, really does show us at our very, very best. No other party could stage such a democratic, respectful and thoughtful debate. Well done to everybody on whatever side you were on the debate. Now, I'm going to gallop along. They say summarise all that in 4 minutes. I will try. I want to pay particular tribute, by the way, before I forget, to the first-time speakers. Majid, Catherine, Nick Thornsby, I thought you were absolutely brilliant, but the best speaker of all has to be Brian Matthews' shameless, ruthless advertising of his own Fringe meeting. An astonishing hijacking of our whole debate for ulterior purposes. Conference, I would like us to vote for the motion, and, crucially, for the vast bulk of Amendment 1, lines 5 to 15, but, as Tim Farron and others have explained, vote against Amendment 1, or rather the lines 1 to 4, and against Amendment 2. Now, that's, of course, on top of the amendments on further banking reform and trade, which we will fold into the amendment, into the motion anyway. I want to just say a few words about three things: Bank of England, housing, and the fiscal mandate. On the Bank of England, I think what Sharon and Malcolm Bruce and others have said, we really should take this to heart. We were the leading political architect and proponent of one of the greatest innovations in macroeconomic policy in this country in a generation, and we should not lightly turn our backs on that. And simply chopping and changing constantly the mandate that politicians might want to hand down to the Bank of England only increases the uncertainty that all speakers have said is very destructive of further economic confidence and recovery. On housing, I hear, I understand, I genuinely share the frustration and the anger that John Shipley, Paul Holmes, James King and others have spoken about so eloquently, about the failure of our country to build more houses and particularly more affordable housing. I really do get it. And as Barbara Jank rightly and wisely suggested, Danny Alexander, myself, others, we're more than happy to sit down with John, all of our colleagues in the LGA, and find our way through this. But there's a fundamental misunderstanding. This motion is, and it says it in the motion, is about what we can do now. Not in 10, 15 years, what we can do now. And it is my sincerely held belief that what it says in the motion, which is all about allowing councils for the first time, free of some of the shackles imposed upon them by Treasury, to basically swap the capital allowances that they're given to build houses to do so. If we get that done, we will build more affordable homes now. If we, on the other hand, delete all of that and go for the amendment, which would mean a complete revolutionary way everything is done, not a single extra affordable home will be built under our watch. That cannot be right. Finally, on the fiscal mandate. The first thing I'd say is just to dispel this myth that if we continue to stick to the plan, that we will deal with the structural deficit, and let me stress this, not by next year, not at some breakneck speed by the year after that even, but into the second half of the next part. We are committed to dealing with this black hole in our public finances by 2018. None of that ties our hands on tax and spend. I'm against 100% spending cuts, completely against it. We will go into the next election. We will go into the next election in favour of more fair taxes and not follow George Osborne's plan such that it might be to only make further savings out of spending cuts. Of course we're not going to do that. That's not Liberal Democrat. It won't happen under my watch. It will not happen. And nothing prevents us from doing that. Nothing prevents us from having independent policies on broadband, on skills, on housing, on all the other crucial issues where our voice, our independent voice, is so essential. But please, be careful for what you wish for. If we start messing about with the big goalposts that we've stuck in the ground, which frame the stability which is required for further economic growth, we will destroy jobs and decrease prosperity. Final point. The only people who will welcome what we do today if we adopt these amendments are George Osborne and Ed Balls. You were brave last year. Be brave again. Thank you.